And so the dump begins. How far could Bitcoin potentially drop? What are the new potential targets here for BTC? And my friends, is it time to get this crypto? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. What is going on, my friends? Today I'd like to discuss Bitcoin and the action we're seeing inside the chart right now. It should come as no surprise to you here if you are subscribed, as on the last stream I pointed out that Bitcoin could be in a potential bearish head and shoulders pattern coming up upon the level of potential resistance. My friends, we see that the top of the left shoulder has now been matched with the top of the right shoulder, and we have seen some selling pressure come into the chart right here, right now. So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right, so we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice, this is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the one-day time frame. Now, as I just outlined in the introduction, we see that the left shoulder and the right shoulder are essentially identical in terms of where they ran up to and saw their rejection. Take into consideration as well, we had a long period of consolidation here, creating the new floor of support before our next rip to the upside. And what do we all know, ladies and gentlemen? Per classical technical analysis theory, old support loves to flip into new resistance. And my friends, in my opinion, we are seeing that forming right here, right now. So when we look at this, obviously, this is really, in my opinion, the most clear-cut pattern. It really doesn't come more clear than this, in my opinion. And we're looking at a potential bearish head and shoulders, which, if we break below the neckline of support, which right now, looks to be around the $8,500 region, that is the tentative confirmation of the pattern, which could lead to potential further downside action. But we need to observe what's going on here more so, right? So let's put this under a microscope and go in here on the 4-hour. Now, very similarly to what I pointed out over here where we consolidated before our leg up, just now we consolidated at the level of potential resistance, right? You see this. We consolidated underneath that old level, and now it's been rejected. So with this formation now, if Bitcoin is to test back up, anything that fails underneath this level, right, where now this support turns into a new resistance, this is very, very troubling for me, ladies and gentlemen. As we could see right here, it got stopped out in terms of the bullish momentum in the red box, which is right under that old support. In and of itself, that looked quite bearish to me. If we actually pull up our Fibonacci extension targets, right, the extension targets of this move here, right, where we could have expected this price to go up to before a decline, let's pull this up right here, and we'll see where that went to. Let's pull it from the top to the bottom there. And look at it, ladies and gentlemen. What do you know? Ding, ding, ding. Chicken wings for dinner, tofu if you're vegan. It went right to the 0.5 Fibonacci extension target, right around 9,200 USD. It tapped it, and now we've fallen. And this 0.5 is significant because now that we see that that's where it went to on the upside before getting rejected, my friends, this is where it went to on the downside here at the Fibonacci retracement of the macro move before finding the bounce. So we dumped to the 0.5 fib, we bounced up to the 0.5 fib, and now, my friends, upon a back test here, if Bitcoin continues to drop all the way back down here, we should all know by now, Again, per classical technical analysis theory, the more time that a level is tested, the more likely it becomes to either be a failure on the downside to fall through, or on the upside, it becomes a more higher probability for it to break through to the upside. So for me right now, looking for a potential double bottom at this 0.5 range is quite dangerous because there have been bearish confirmations here all along the way. We hit the fib target to the upside. We came into the red box of resistance. The old support was now essentially and tentatively confirmed as a new local resistance. And above all else, Bitcoin right now, when we zoom out to a more macro perspective, Bitcoin is still on a lower high trajectory, my friends. I mean, this is what a bear market looks like on a long-term trend. That is what you're looking for, right? Is lower highs for months, years on end. And right now, Bitcoin has not done anything to change that lower high trajectory that Bitcoin has been on now going on 3 years. Okay. And the lower that we get in this trend, right? Say that this does dump down now, to this 0.5. If we break down from this region here, right, and the bearish head and shoulders does wind up playing out, and just for fun here, let's take a look at the measured move, okay? Generally, how you would get a potential, extrapolation target is you measure it, the size of the neckline to the head, you would drop it to the point of the breakdown, right, which would essentially be right around there. And my friends, wow, look at that confluence. It puts us, let's actually zoom out now so we can get it better. It actually puts us directly right at this point of confluence. I mean, isn't that amazing that the line lines up exactly with my trend line there? And that is around 6,400. Right in this zone of maximum historic price action confluence, of which Bitcoin bounced off prior, right? So this pattern, essentially, if it were to play out, would bring us for a full, pop of this little micro cycle right here, bring us right back to where we started, and then we would be looking for a tentative double bottom. But the problem, again, my friends, is we already had the double bottom here, right? We already had it. So if we test down to here, I mean, sure, maybe we go up again, but if we stick in something like a lower high once more and then test it again, I think that we could have some problems here, my friends, as this would all be one gigantic, essentially descending triangle, just like we saw back here on Bitcoin in 2018 before the massive capitulation down towards 3,000. Let's get this crypto. I mean, I hope that you were I hope that you watched my last stream. If you're not, and if you're new to the channel, you need to subscribe and then go back and watch my rant on the last stream. I was talking about the halving and how, many are just delusional in this space. Why? They have a coin and a dream, ladies and gentlemen. This space breeds a lottery ticket mentality, unfortunately. I don't know why, but in this space, there's a lot of fantasy and delusion. You have, in the traditional markets, there's not really much delusion in, I mean, sure, people, whatever, right? They dollar cost average mindlessly. I get it. The thing is that in this space, people really think that their investment of $100 has a chance to turn into $1 million. I don't know where that comes from. I mean, sure, if you were back in the very early days, if you made some very speculative investments in altcoins and things of that nature, sure, it was possible. We are not in that environment anymore. We are years past the parabolic blow off top, right? Sticking in macro lower highs over and over and over again. I think that mentality is just very dangerous. I mean, sure, if that's you, I hope that it works out for you. Best of luck to you. I'll never tell you what to do or how to look at the market. But for me, I still see that this is a long-term bear trend here. I hope it breaks the structure eventually. I hope that we start to build a trend that, that negates all of this. But, as I see it right now, if Bitcoin is to break back down towards this $6,000 region here, my friends, I think this is becoming, very, very problematic here. The halving to me doesn't even matter at that point. What does the halving matter if the prices are breaking down? And the fact of the matter is that many miners are no longer going to be that profitable, as half the block reward is cut from table. For me, you know, this is a very unique time in this market. You guys would know that I've been looking to play this market as aggressively as I can. You know, I did wind up shorting the top of this pattern here. Shout out to my VIPs. I'll actually pull this one up here for you now. That was an epic short trade that I took from up in the trend with an averaged laddered entry on my short around 9,976. It was a glorious trade. And then, my friends, I did also, I don't have it to pull up here for you, but I did wind up looking to take a long position from down here, which was actually the local bottom around 8,655, and I wound up getting stopped out. Unfortunately, a wick got me here, right? A wick got me in this vicinity. I got stopped out, but it was the right idea, right? And that's, you know, it validates my analysis that I figured that the trend could bounce at that region. Unfortunately, I didn't catch it. I wound up taking a long upon the breakout of this double top, right? Looking for a potential high reward, low risk, where if we did get rejected up around this region, I was going to exit my trade, right? And if we kept going, I was going to let it run. I'll show you this right here. I wound up opening at 9,071 a long, but then I closed it for a very, you know, an irrelevant little profit. But the reason that I closed it was because I saw that we were potentially building that consolidation of resistance at that level that I've been outlining here on the stream, right on the underbellies of this, right? And that we could get rejected. So again, I mitigated my risk, I exited my position, and if I just hodled like a degenerate here, I'd be sitting, you know, in a not so nice loss right now, right? It'd be pretty disgusting. So the fact of the matter is that this trend is moving aggressively. I am looking to trade it to the best of my ability. If you want to see all of my trade setup ideas in real time, I post all of my entries, exits, targets, strategies, positions, everything exclusively for you around the clock in VIP. I can only be here on YouTube once per day, but in VIP, as I see it and formulate my strategies and ideas, I post it all for you exclusively there in VIP. So if you are not already in my VIP right this second, well, my friends, I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. Okay. So, you know, where this goes right now, we have to see how the reaction is if we continue to drop down into the bottom of this structure here. But really, again, we're going to go into a more macro view now, but even if we bounce here, watch out, you know, for these levels around 8,900, right, as old support / resistance could turn into this new resistance here once more. We could bounce and then look to complete the pattern down, right? Anything's possible. And then, of course, from a bullish perspective, because I'm sure that the moon boy, but Kirby, why are you only saying bearish things? Why don't you look at the bullish? Chill your giblets, little James, you sick degenerate, okay? If we are to you know, go against this trend here, and we are to wind up creating new higher highs here, new higher lows going into a new higher high, we need to get above the top of this right shoulder to negate it, right? We need to get above here. And then it starts to look, I mean, no matter how you slice it, ladies and gentlemen, this now is a much harder structure to continue bullishly through here. We have more resistance up in this region. We've got resistance here. There is resistance everywhere. Doesn't mean that it can't just cut through it like a hot knife through butter. But from a trading perspective, looking for high reward, low risk trade setups, for me, this is definitely looking way more risky to the upside than it is to the downside. I mean, I like to follow what I perceive to be the path of potentially the least resistance, right? And for me, right now, that is certainly downwards. As on the upside, it was the opposite, right? And why is that? Because we were building new supports on top of old resistances consecutively, ladies and gentlemen, right? Look at it over and over and over and over again, building that new support on top of the old resistance in a staircase formation. Now, my friends, it is literally the exact opposite, where we are seeing a staircase down, my friends, where we're seeing these old levels become now the potential staircase down, where when you test up, you fail again, right? Look at this right here. The resistance we just stuck in was right there on top of that. You see, right? It's possible that this now becomes the staircase down, right? It just is what it is. And I've shown you guys little miniature cycles like this happen all the time in Bitcoin, right? It's just how it goes. You know, they bubble pop back to the mean. Something like this, right? It's a little cycle in and of itself. You know, and I just don't think that many really want to understand that this is really a trader's market. It has been since the bubble pop at 2017. I mean, anybody dollar cost averaging has probably been wrecked, as they probably have sold the bottoms, you know, bought the tops. I mean, there's been a very limited amount of time in here that, you know, buying the dip has been prosperous at all. I mean, especially if you started back here or you were still dollar costing up above, you know, 10,000. I mean, how much could you really be in profit, right? It's been a trader's market. It just has. I mean, there's heinous swings in here. You're not going to catch them all. You're going to lose trades, right? I lose trades. You lose trades. We all lose trades. The fact of the matter is that it's when you catch the ones long term that you rack up nice wins over a long, sustained period of time, tentatively looking to do it to the best of your ability, right? That's all I can do. There are no guarantees or certainties in trading. But the fact is here, if you don't put on your big boy pants and understand the risks of this market, and that it is a savage, one of the most volatile, high-risk markets in the world, with also the potential highest reward in the world, in my opinion, you know, this market probably isn't for you. I mean, it's not for everybody, and they don't understand really what they're getting involved with. It's a very high-risk market. I mean, and just being shilled garbage all day long by people saying, we're going to the moon, 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 Lambo, Lambo, Lambo. It's very, very... I don't even know the word, disingenuine. Is that even a word? It just doesn't seem right to me that that's the narrative that gets shilled all day long. This trend, when you look at it very matter-of-factly here, you know, look at it. I mean, this is the long-term trend of Bitcoin, my friends, right? This is it. We're in a long-term... I'll actually draw this. I was just trying to get away drawing it freehand here. Let's just make it, you know, nice and simple. You know, pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a long-term, you know, downtrend here, really looking like a descending triangle on a yearly, you know, outlook. I mean, that's not a bull trend, okay? That is not what a bullish market looks like. In fact, you're just creating lower highs over and over and over again, creating a flat line of support along the bottom. And if we are to test back down to this region, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, how many times are we going to test this region, really, before it fails and then converts into the new resistance, right? I mean, it's possible, right? We could get stuck in a range like this. So, you know, just be aware that this market goes up and down. I would love for it to go up. I'd love for it to break this structure, right? I'd love to see this all negated. Let me get this. There we go. I'd love to get this all negated and start to form support above here. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. I'm going to look to trade it to the best of my ability, whether that's up or down. And I am going to keep you updated in VIP with my personal trade setup ideas, entries, exits, targets, exclusively for you in VIP. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. My friends, I'll see you in VIP right now after this video. Keep in mind here as well, on the daily time frame, we are looking to potentially test this 200-day as well. If we drop below the 200-day, you know, we're looking at losing the structure of the pattern, the 0.5 fib, the 200, it gets really, really hard for me to see this as something bullish here if we drop through this level. So, you know, I'm looking for potentially life-changing trading opportunity here. I will keep you updated with all of my trade setup ideas, entries, exits, targets, etc. for you exclusively in VIP. Today is the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. Only time will tell here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay on your toes. I'm ready to get this crypto. Are you? Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, if you could one last time, moon up the likes, moon them up, smash those thumbs, click the subscribe button, tick the little bell, and let's get this crypto. Satoshi needs a new pair of shoes. I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.